Virginia. He's going to go over and be Secretary of Defense. He gives a great speech on stage, gets off stage, Langley, Virginia, right? And he literally brings over Catherine Bigelow and Mark Bowl, Hollywood producer, screenwriter, director for Zero Dark 30. Panetta introduces them to us and says, hey, look, they're going to make you famous. So within 3 weeks, less than a month of the mission.
For those that don't know, Leon Panetta was director of CIA at the time.
Yep, right. So he full access for Hollywood for that movie, right? I knew that firsthand within a month of the mission, right? I got out of the Navy, right? I hurt my neck in the crash. That was the last mission I was ever on. I get out of the Navy later that fall. I'm contacted by the author Mark Bowden. Mark Bowden wrote Black Hawk Down. He wrote a book called The Finish about the bin Laden raid. And he contacts me. He's like, hey, Matt, I've already interviewed President Obama. I got the White House perspective of the raid. I've already interviewed Admiral McRaven. I got the JSOC perspective of the raid. We would love to interview you for your ground truth perspective. Fascinating. I already knew the movie, right? Movie was percolating. I'm like, when do you want your book to come out? It's like, well, we're trying hard to get it out before the election. Okay. So I'm an enlisted guy, right? I work for a living, right? I'm not the admiral. I'm not the general. I'm not the president.
But I'm director of CIA.
I'm sitting in my position watching every single leader from this country be willing to talk about their heroic actions for their re-election campaign, whatever you want to call it. It pissed me off. All right, it made me mad because none of the 24 operators that were on the mission were getting any credit for it, right? It was all the heroic decision making in Washington, D.C. And so that's when I knew I was getting out. A whole bunch of us had been to Ground Zero, right? I'd never been to New York City before. We went to Ground Zero after the bin Laden raid. Crushed me, right? I stood there at Ground Zero and I'm pretty good at blocking out the emotions. It crushed me. And I knew I had hurt my back pretty significantly on the helo crash. I was getting a divorce. I had done 13 straight tours at that time, and it just felt like really good bookends. My very first deployment, 9/11, happened. Last thing I did is crash into his compound. I'm now so senior, they're going to take me out of the operational side of things.
Damn.
And I didn't join to be the troop commander. I didn't join to be the officer. I joined to stay enlisted. Right? I had my degree, stayed enlisted the whole time.
You were on the invasion.
Yeah.
You were on the invasion. Holy shit. So
your
career kicked. Wow.
So my whole career, I saw it happen. I saw it evolve, and then I saw it spiraling towards the end, right? I saw the officers and the self-promotion side of things. By the time I got back from the bin Laden mission and I knew I was hurt at that point, we went to Ground Zero. I was like, man, I am cooked. And I was done. Came back from that and called it.
Damn. Why did you conceal your identity?
Oh, sorry, I missed that part. Because why not? If somebody can tell me the upside of being out there and being famous or trying to be, right? I very much enjoy my anonymity. My neighbors where I live, 20 feet away, I have no clue anything about my background. And I like it that way. I read all these books growing up, right? I served 13 straight tours, and none of it did I do by myself. So why would I then now all of a sudden write a book talking about all my heroic actions? I never saw it that way. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to write about it, I'm going to do it in my terms, and I'm not going to show my face because that's irrelevant, right? The story is what it is. It has nothing to do with what we look like.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I want to tell the story. I want to do it accurately, authentically, and then I don't want to be the center line of the story. So I'm going to remove myself from the equation, and that's where it started.
Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty damn smart idea. I mean, how many guys were on the raid? 25? 24 people out of the entire world on the raid that takes out the fucking world's most wanted man. And pissed a lot of people off.
But I didn't want the story to be about me. It's irrelevant who wrote the book. It's like, let's hear the story. Who are these type of people? Where do they come from? Who are these guys? What are SEALs? What are they all about?
Yeah.
Right. And I think Hollywood does a pretty shitty job in portraying it. Right. They think we all look like Jocko Willink. Right. But I'm sorry, I don't look like Jocko. I don't run like Goggins. Right. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, glad you're here once again. So let's get into it. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a remote village in the middle of Alaska. My parents were missionaries, Christian missionaries. A village called Aniak, Alaska, 350 miles northwest of Anchorage on the Kuskokwim River. 500 people.
Whoa.
Drove a snowmobile to school in the morning. Graduated high school with 3 people in my senior class.
What?
I was the valedictorian.
You were. Congratulations.
Our high school mascot, and you can Google it still to this day, right? Aniak's the name of the village. Our high school mascot was the Half-Breeds.
Are you serious?
The Aniak Half-Breeds, the mighty Half-Breeds, right? They're
Wow.
high school cheerleaders. And everybody thinks it's a derogatory term, right? I say bullshit, right? In the village in Alaska, right? I was one of the few white kids that were in the village, right? Most everybody was a half-breed, and everybody was proud of that heritage. And what was the moral of the story? Nobody cares what color you are. Don't be an asshole. That's the way I grew up, man. I grew up in a village as a minority, as the white kid, appreciating the fact that everybody was a half-breed. Right, I drove a snowmobile to school. I bought my first AR-15 from my history teacher after class.
Get the fuck out of here! What?
After class, I gave him $700 in cash. He reaches under his desk, pulls out my Colt AR-15 A2, and boom, I put it in my locker till the end of the day.
What?
School ends. I slung my new rifle, walked out of school, got on my snowmobile, and drove home.
Holy shit!
So. Yeah.
What's the name of this town?
Aniak. Aniak.
Love it.
So, yeah, man, it was a middle school.
Dude, well, hold on. So you're the only white kid in a town of
No, there's
did you say 300 or the school?
500. There's a handful. I'm not more than 100.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is how the hell did your family wind up here?
Missionaries. I was born in California with 2 sisters, right? My dad was a teacher and had an opportunity to move to Alaska and teach for some of these remote villages. And right, they were always Christian and knew their faith, and so moved to the village. My dad ultimately became the village magistrate, so like the law in town, right? Log cabin courthouse. Right, 100% of the rules broken in town were alcohol related. So, right, you get drunk, beat up your old lady.
Yeah.
My dad would arraign you to 3 weeks in jail. Well, we didn't have a jail in our town. So you'd have to fly a little Cessna down to the next bigger village, do your 3 weeks in the drunk tank or whatever you're doing, and you'd fly back to our village and you're trying to get back to yours. Well, the weather would roll in and you couldn't fly from place to place. So you just got sent to jail for 3 weeks. The only person you know in my village is my dad. So you show back up at the courthouse, knock on the door. Hey, Mr. Terry. Oh, hey, Sean, I see you're out. Well, yeah, I'm trying to get back to my village, but the weather rolled in. We can't travel. Can I stay at your house? So my dad would be like, sure, but you got to stay for church on Sunday. So we'd literally have a guy that my dad sent to jail. He's back 3 weeks later. He literally slept on our couch in our living room. And then on Sunday morning, we'd have kind of a small church service at the house. And there's my dad's buddy.
Wow. That is.
I've
never heard
never
that
wanted to leave
before.
the village, man. I thought the village was, as a young man, right, hunting, fishing, running around. 16 years old, I'm taking a boat up the river for a week at a time with a fishing pole and some guns, a dog, and a buddy.
Damn.
We'd come back a week later, right? I barely trust a 16-year-old to valet park a car these days.
No kidding.
Alaska, it was just a whole different deal.
So you spent your entire childhood up there.
Yeah.
Damn near, anyways.
Yeah, that's it. Graduated high school, and then all I ever wanted to do, right? I read these books in middle school for a book report. Mm-hmm. Found the book Men with Green Faces, SEAL book from Vietnam.
I read that book.
Gene Wentz is the author.
Dude.
I've met him. That was pretty
Really?
cool. Yeah. Yep. That was the first book I read. and man, was hooked. I was like, man, I kept reading more and more books, and it's like I told my dad one day, he's like, no, you don't want to join the military. I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing. He's like, well, would you go to college first? You know, all you know is this village in Alaska. Go to college. I'm like, sure, okay, but I'm still going to the Navy. They were hoping I'd change my mind. So I went to school in Los Angeles, same school my parents had went to. So I didn't know anything about, right? I went to college.
Talk about a fucking culture shock.
I'd never driven on the freeway. I had never worked a gas pump at the gas station, right? Like before ATM cards, put a 20 on pump 3.
Yeah.
Right? We had a barge that would come up the river and deliver fuel to like a 700-gallon fuel tank in front of our house that we would use for the year. Right? I went to college. I showed up in Southern California with a flannel, work boots. Like, hey, I'm here for school. Like,
Nice.
Who's this knucklehead?
Wow.
Yeah, I'd never been on a date. I'd never driven on the freeway. I'd never done anything, man.
You'd never been on a date?
It's a village of high school class of 3.
You got to go to the next village over.
Village of Alaska. Where are you taking them?
Holy You've never been on a date?
Not till I went to college.
No girlfriend, nothing. Okay, hold on. I
I
got to
had
hear
a
this
slight
first. I gotta hear
girlfriend
the
from
first.
down the river, the village down the river.
Down the river? Holy, what did you guys do for a date?
Well, okay. So for basketball, right? I played basketball. It was Matt missed the net when I played basketball. You'd fly a Cessna from village to village, and that's how you'd, compete with other schools. And so when you'd fly to the other schools, there was always like a dance that night. So, whatever. So that was it, man. Fly from village to village. You're there for the weekend, play some basketball, find the locals, make some friends.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 4 Fs. That sounds like that was something that's
Straight from my father.
stuck with you.
Straight from my father, that he demonstrated, right? A lot of people talk. My dad demonstrated, and he demonstrated his 4 Fs were what guided him through life. And that's his family, his friends, his fun, and his faith. And so that's my dad passed last December, and
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
30-year battle with Parkinson's. So long spiral. Never heard him complain once, not once. So that's rubbed off on me as I've dealt with my situation, right? Whether I was going to turn into a little bitch and start complaining, or if I was going to put my head down, get to work, and deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. What about your mother?
Mom, still here, doing fine.
Yeah,
100 miles an hour.
you guys close?
Very.
You grew up close?
Yeah, because you're in a village in Alaska, not much else to do, right? I went to college. After college, joined the Navy, right? Enlisted. My parents thought I would have lost focus on the SEAL thing, and no, I was just as amped up. I tried Army ROTC in college, so they sent me to jump school. Right, I was Army ROTC, so kind of got a little sidetracked, thinking, okay, maybe I'll do this ROTC thing. I was an officer in the Army, and I went to jump school as a cadet, and I'm at the Chow Hall at jump school, and I'm sitting across from these SEALs. Little did I know they just graduated buds, right? But I think they're hairy-chested frogmen, and they're making fun of my stupid Army haircut. And I was devastated. I was like, fuck, these guys are making fun of my hair. Like, if I continue with this Army thing, I'm going to go have to do the haircuts and boots. And like, that's a thing. And I had read all these books about the Navy. I was like, no, man, I came back from jump school, my cadet status. I went to my little ROTC boss and I'm like, hey man, I can't do this. I've always dreamt about the Navy, and that's what I'm going to go do.
They made fun of my fucking hair. I'm out.
I'm out.
This is bullshit.
So yeah, that was it. Left ROTC, graduated, and then enlisted in the Navy.
So you got your degree.
Yep.
What's your degree in?
Social science.
Nice.
Waste of time.
Waste of time.
Waste of time. Never used it. But I had it. I went to the recruiter's office, enlisted. They're like, great, you have a degree. You can join as an E3. So E3, torpedoman. It's the shortest A school I could find, right?
Nice.
All my buddies did gunner's mate, and they're like, oh, 6 months, don't do that. So
Yeah.
torpedoman, I think it was 6 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. And then straight to buds, class 226.
Nice.
And then I made it straight through. So that was
And
90,
you
98.
were the honor man, correct?
So they say.
Why'd you get honor man? Do you know?
I don't know. Somebody else picked me.
Oh, right. Come on. You got a good